What's going on, everybody? This is HBTV with your host, Harry Bugarin. Thank you for joining us. We do appreciate it. Always appreciative of all your support. Again, if this is your first time or you guys are weekly viewers, again, HBTV, what are we built for? To inspire, influence, educate, and empower. And we always bring on guests that do exactly that in our world community. So thank you for the support. Thank you for viewing. Let's keep this going every week as we do. I got some great guests like today, Coach Masaki Matsumoto, who is a head coach at Lincoln High School for the varsity football team. We're going to sit down via Zoom, talk to him a little bit, and just, see what's going on with him and see how his journey's been. If you guys like the music, this is again done by my guy Derek, DJ Dex, a good friend of mine, a good brother. Always trying to play some good music on the show. So if you or anybody that you know is a musician, producer, whatever, love to talk to them. If they don't want to get on, if they just want to share some of their music, I would love to share that with you guys as well. We had some past guests with some cool music, so in the description, check them out and go ahead and follow them and support them on IG as well. Speaking of support, we're always down to support people, especially those mom and pops businesses. In previous episodes, I talked about some of the services that we always frequent, and yeah, man, this is my COVID hair right here. God, if you guys got any services other than that barbershop in Redondo Beach, let me know. That practices all the good stuff for COVID. But anyways, just linked up with a dear friend. Basically, she's family, Anitra Alferos. She actually has a service where she cooks. She's a personal chef. She cooks Filipino foods, baked goods, all that good stuff. Follow her at Anitra Creations. She's on IG. And she got a couple specials going on this week. Maybe this will entice you guys. 1 second. All right. This week for Anitra Creations, I'm just reading this off my notes. This week, I'm going to have Chilean sea bass and bake ziti pans and some sweet and sour rib dishes. So those are the specials coming up this week. If that's something that you are interested in, please check out at Anitra Creations on IG. Available for curbside pickup, whatever you guys order, and all that stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna have a great episode. I'm going to sit down with Coach Masaki Matsumoto. Honestly, I haven't even seen this guy in years. I used to coach with him when I was a teacher and I was a basketball coach at the high school level. He was on the football staff. I was on the basketball staff at Helen Bernstein High School. Go Dragons. That was many years ago, but it's going to be great to catch up with him again to see what he's doing. So stay tuned and thank you for sticking with us. I'm just going to do some music, play some music a little bit, get Coach on the Zoom, get ready for that, and then bring him back and then have a chat with him. So thank you for sticking with us. And again, thank you for the support. We love it. We love you. Couldn't have done this without any of you. So check it out. About to play some tunes, a little more from Derek from Selective Fade. Gonna hit some of his tunes. He's gonna be on be a guest here in a couple weeks. So looking forward to that. He's a hip hop producer. Does some great stuff from the Long Beach area. So I'm gonna spin some of his tunes or play some of his tunes and some other stuff. So kick back, relax until the guest gets on, and thank you very much for joining us. Stay tuned.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like you're sinking. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like you're sinking. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
9 in the morning in the 818. I'm on the 101 southbound interstate. Windows up with the AC on. The vents closed, cause outside is 98 degrees, but inside is froze. Lighter in my right hand, piece in the left. I'm hot boxing so the weed circulate each breath. Traffic moving slow, so I'm driving with my knee and making sure the CHP ain't behind me. Puffing in the passing to myself, I guess. On the radio, some old school Tribe Called Quest. I tapped the ash in the tray and put the piece in the stash and switch it to the third lane and put my foot in the gas. And now I'm mashing, but I gotta keep my speed on the low, cause I don't want the po-po to find out that I ain't got no coverage on the photo. 94 Corolla, plus I still got about a half of the hydro. I slide down the 405. Now I'm southbound, headed for a very long drive, cause everybody got the same thing on their mind, cause everybody switching lanes at the same time on the freeway.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like it's freeway music. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
Honk, honk, beep, beep. Everybody rubbernecking cause somebody just crashed. Now I'm about to miss my exit. Damn, now I gotta slam the brakes and merge lanes cause they flipped over their car and they about to burn in flames. It's a shame that you can't drive. Why you got an X5 talking on your cell, applying makeup at the same time? I guess you should've slowed down like most Def said it. Made the wrong move and that's your ass chick, forget it. Don't sweat it cause I'm almost at the destination. Right behind the Escalade, niggas playing PlayStation. Got the munchies so I'm looking for the next gas station. I'ma grab a bag of chips and a bottle of libation. See this Asian shit at the pump looking kinda fine, so I pull up right beside and hit her with a few lines. Now I'm back up on the road for the mission at hand. Don't need no more distractions, gotta stick to the plan. I'm on the freeway,
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like it's freeway music. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
Now I'm getting close to where I'm trying to be. The 710 take me straight to the LBC. I got about 3 miles before I hit the exit. Last song on the disc, so I gotta eject it. Now I'm switching through the channels on the FM dial. The same songs in rotation like usual. I flip through the case logic for some brand new discs. Should I put in Slum B or some old school Chris? Oh shit, I hear sirens and some flashing lights. I guess the man wanna sweat my black ass tonight. I put the metal to the metal and I steer hard right. Cause if you want chemically, gotta deal with a fight. I tried mashing to the exit, but the road was blocked. So now my only option is to pull over and stop. I had a lot of weekend plans, but they just got dropped. Cause I just got popped by some punk ass cops on the freeway.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like you're sinking. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like you're sinking. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning, the steering wheel's turning.
Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it. Lean it to the side so it looks like you're sinking. Exceed the speed limit, tin it up and weeds in it.
Dust is burning.
Manila Meadows. I had no pops from the get-go. I guess I am a ghetto bastard. I blasted across the Pacific, America, to be specific. Carson, Cali, Cabbage to the A block. Hoping to be a colt or a pilot while it stayed hot. And even though we prayed hard, yo, my mom still worked that motherfucking graveyard shift. Shit, I stayed out late. I grew up in the hood, a menace too, like MC8. Nanas tried to keep me straight, be out till 11, but I grew up with 211. Coco and 24/7, Chana, JB, Snipe, and the rest of the crew. So what you wanna do, players? It's all on you. We had dreams of owning this whole hip hop nation. Bad dreams of videos, heavy rotation on every station, and we was banging while we was trying to get on wax. Went from now laters to fireworks, chronic sacks to yeah. I learned hustling from moms, applied it to hood haggles. It's all about the gap or how you like them apples. Throw your hands in the sky if you trying to survive. In that 90745, throw your blunts in the sky for your niggas that died. In that 90745, throw your sets in the sky if you trying to survive. In that 90745. 90745. Throw your guns in the sky for your niggas that died. In that 90745. Good. Looking out to the homies that had my back, putting it down like thumbtacks, making them guns clap. That's how we do in the harbor area. 213. I know it's scaring ya. You can't stop me from dropping the aerials and varios evident. I represent like Brett and Barrier. Where you at? To my people's keeping it alive. Finger banging them bitches that knew they're trying to hit a sports night. And we was all tight in creased khakis. Brown down from head to Nikes, even a Parker jacket. Syndicate was kicking it on cat skill. Brownsville is down still. West side is where it's at still. So I'm going out like psych on these sheriffs. From the Dale to center of Del Amo to a Caris. That is, I'm still putting Carson on the map. Same number, same pad. It's all throw your hands in the sky if you're trying to survive. In that 90745. Throw your blunts in the sky for your niggas that died. In that 90745. Throw your sets in the sky if you're trying to survive. In the 90745. Throw your gun in the sky for your niggas that died. In the 90745. Me and Coco broke more niggas at a party than Bacardi. You hear somebody? Run upstairs and grab the shotty. I shot me my first strap with gangsta snake. Trying to make it or break it, waiting on that big quake, and it was Ace Deuce Trey. It's all about that GTA. And if anyone tips the cops, the motherfuckers got flip-flop. YOS. Alley boys growing up with Carson bad boys. Word to WB and Dream, I'm taking out all these whack toys. With crawl on, I'm getting my style on at Carnegie. Some more Mafia, CIA, Mexican or pimpin' posse. Actually, I see it all come back to me. Factually, when I smell the bread from the Puritan factory, riding the circuit to the Southern Cali plant, smoking fat sacks of dank at the Secret Lake Bank. Just trying to stay at a LP camp. I had these little fools on check like Scott and on deck. So all y'all rest in peace, cause I got shit on deck. Kool-Aid and Bird and blunts of boo behind it. For all y'all behind the walls, keeping your health, I'ma rock on and on until your day is dealt. I hope you say I'm felt from the east to the west side, cause the sea arson for life until I die. Throw your hands in the sky if you're trying to survive. In the 90745. Throw your blunts in the sky for your niggas that died. In the 90745. Throw your sets in the sky if you're trying to survive. In the 90745. Throw your guns in the sky for your niggas that died. In the 90745.
Yeah. K9 D1. Where my Vegas niggas at? 702, rock with us. We keep it vague made, hustling to stay paid, bustin' with AKs. We keep it vague made.
So vague made when I was born, the dark bet on me. Slapped me on the ass, I laughed, said I'm different pedigree. Predicted I get money, and he was right, cause the kids shine bright, just like the luxury light. The desert gets dry, you think they wanna open the floodgates. I make hell, make it thunder, I change the flood rate. Losers love to hate, when it feels great. Bet with me, now you mad, cause your mortgage late.
Rebel, bringing the heat when I hit the streets, cause it came from hell. 702 is where I dwell, bodies filled with shotgun shells. In the night, demons yell, overpacking jail cells. Peep the secrets when I speak it, no one lives, no one tells. That's how it is in Sin City, cause we vague made. If you came to hustle up, I hope you bring your A game. Stepping on our toes, and we bust back with them AKs. Haters falling down to the ground, yelling Mayday. We keep it vague made, hustling to stay paid, bustin' with AKs. Welcome to the city, built by Mafia communities. We keep it vague made, hustling to stay paid, bustin' with AKs. Welcome to the city, built by Mafia communities.
Vegas on my belly, different weekend, different bits, different telly. I'm on my celly, he can't on this beefy, bring the deli. Haters hating on us, cause we sold 7-0 dub. We in the streets, in the casino, and we in the clubs. Roam the desert like a fucking doom buggy. If there's a job to tackle, I'm on it like rugby. It's the devil's playground where it misses a bunch of lost souls. I know where to find them in the desert, small holes. Yeah, we off the block again. Beat the odds times 10. No telling what we spent. I blew the whole rent, but fuck it. The city living till I'm dead and gone. When they bury me, make sure I got a 702 fitted on. Jackpot Armstrong, hit like Barry Bones. Steroids, the Hellboy, and you know I'm going long. So before you come rolling down the boulevard, put your money where your mouth is, and you better know how to play those cards.
We keep it vague, made. Hustling to stay paid. Bustin' with AKs. Welcome to the city built by mafia communities. We keep it vague, made.
All right, guys, thank you for staying with us. I'm going to get Coach Matsumoto on the Zoom, set him up, and then get back in. So I'm just going to transition for a quick minute. Please stick with us. We have a great episode with Coach Matsumoto. Transition. All right, so we're about ready to have our guest on HBTV, the show, Coach Masaki Matsumoto. Again, high school coach, currently at Lincoln High School up in Washington, varsity head coach. Had a lot of experience starting out there in San Diego, moved up to LA where I met him, and now he's up there doing his thing up in Washington. Haven't seen Coach in a while, so it'll be great. It'll be a great time with him, to have this time and just catch up. So without further ado, let me bring Coach in. Coach, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for
good.
having me.
I'm good. So just really quick, this is the first time that everybody has seen you, and you know, me bringing you on, obviously, but do me a favor and give everybody that quick 30-second elevator speech of who Coach Matsumoto is.
Masaki Matsumoto is my full name. I was born in Japan, moved to Seattle when I was about 6-7 years old, sports has been a big part of my life. And mainly because of the mentors I've met through the game, and now I'm a PE teacher and a head football coach at Lincoln High School, like you said, in Tacoma, Washington, and this is my 8th year being a head coach. I think 14 years coaching total.
Okay, awesome. So, I mean, you can Google Coach Matsumoto. You can check out all the accolades and everything like that. So I'm not going to really get into that with him here on this show. My purpose here is just to talk about his journey, more so about coaching, and give you guys an insight about that. Maybe some of you guys want to be a head coach, coach basketball, softball, whatever. And if Coach Matsumoto and I, can inspire and influence that, then hey, we did our job, I guess, for this episode. So Coach, one of the things I read about is on one of the articles you talked about your first time being a coach. You guys made it to the semis. You thought you knew everything about coaching at that time. So take me through that and how that kind of evolved from your way of thinking, of your experience going to Helen Bernstein when I met you.
Okay, so you're referring to my transition from Cathedral to Bernstein?
Absolutely.
Yeah. At that point I was still young, but I thought I learned a great amount from Cathedral. We had won a CIF title there, and I learned under a great staff, and I was more focused on the defensive side, and I learned from a really good defensive coordinator, John Montali. And so, and obviously it's a Catholic school, and the demographic, was way different than the school you and I met, Bernstein. And so it was just, I would say, coaching wise, it was just a shock culturally, because I was doing an interview prior to this, and I told them that I had, I grew up in the suburbs, and I was a middle class kid, and went to school mostly with whites and Asians, and so to be at a school, 96% Hispanic, Title I, low income, kids not caring about, success, etc.
Yeah.
It was just a big shock to me. And the reason why I think I was successful is because I was so naive to that. I just attacked it full on, because every single one of my classmates graduated. And when I heard that, 56 of LAUSD kids graduate, that was just mind-boggling. And when kids would ditch class, when they would be getting bad grades, or they would talk about, oh, coach, I may not graduate, or I may not go to college, I just went into them, and just said, no, that's not an option. Like, I made it through hard work, and you can do it too. And so that was kind of like the wake-up call I got when I first transitioned from Cathedral to Bernstein.
Right. So going back to Bernstein, for me and you mentioned about the kids ditching and things like that. They would come into my class, so I would see all those kids too. But yeah. So during that time, that was 2008. We just opened Helen Bernstein up. You and I were one of the first staff to do that. I was the head coach for the basketball team, and you were on the coaching staff for Helen Bernstein's football. That the first year ever going on. So you saw my challenges, but as far as like your challenges transitioning over to Helen Bernstein, like you said, like as far as getting that program started, what are some of the challenges that you met with the coaching staff there?
Yeah, so football wise, like you said, I was an assistant because they had already hired a head coach, and I don't think I was ready at the time anyway. Yeah. But I was the head track coach first year as well, and football wise, it was tough, I don't want to talk bad about anyone, but It's just the program was not ran well, right. And it wasn't delegated, it wasn't organized, a lot of standing around, and first year I would say, like, because of what I learned at Cathedral, I would try to give him suggestions, etc. And he wasn't a jerk about it, but he just didn't accept any of the advice, and had reasons for not wanting to do the things I suggested, and it wasn't even like scheme stuff, it was just more organization stuff, and so after that first year, I just kind of learned, like, okay, I'm just gonna do my part, do what he asks me to do to the fullest, and serve the kids, and I did that for 4 seasons. And then, but in terms of track, coach, like I said, the reason why I think I was successful is because, again, I just didn't put up with the excuse, I didn't put up with any of the BS, because, like, yes, it sucks that you come from, certain backgrounds or certain situations at home, but at the end of the day, like, you still have the choice and the opportunity to do something with it, and so when they would miss practice or when they would be late to practice, I just got on them, and when they didn't have the grades, I got on them and helped them out. And so as you recall, the track program, became pretty successful right away.
Absolutely.
Again, not because I'm special. I just didn't let them give them, make up excuses. But after the 4 seasons, as you remember, they asked me to be the head coach and take over because they said they were going to move in a different direction. They liked what I had done with the track program. And then in 2012, I took over the football program.
That's awesome. Again, you're watching HBTV, the show, with Coach Matsumoto. Okay, so 2012, I was already gone. And just to let you know, you're saying it's not you, but honestly, man, the time that I did see you interact with the kids, that I did see you interact with the football kids, the track kids, man, they loved you. You were very inspirational to them. You're a great mentor for all of them, and we'll talk about this a little bit more, but as far as students, you've touched and kept in touch with during all that time, it's pretty rewarding, right? So, but one thing I remember, we were talking in the courtyard, and you said to me, Coach, one thing about being a high school coach, you have to be a great motivator. One thing about being a college coach, you got to be a great recruiter. Now, that motivation, right? I'm pretty sure you probably got that at Cathedral or a bunch of your other mentors that you talk about, and you can give them a shout out as well. But as far as motivating these kids, you talked about the challenges. Like, where do you pull that from? Like, how do you motivate somebody that doesn't want to graduate? How do you motivate somebody that, saying, hey, I came from this situation? Like, where do you pull that motivation and give that to the kids?
Yeah, that's man, it kind of brought me chills when you said that.
I always remember that. So
it means a lot that you remember that, man. Yeah. It was when I first took over the track program, and I went to go visit my high school track coach, actually, Coach Wilcox. He was an assistant at the time, but now he's the head coach of my high school. But yeah, he told me that quote, and I was like, you're exactly right. We can't recruit. We can't get the bodies we want, we're just going to have to coach the kids who are there. And at our school, like I said, not a lot of motivation, and so I had to find ways to motivate. And something else he told me, like, kids love stories, they remember stories, not stats,
Yeah.
And so I just I ran with that. And to give you like a general answer, because I could probably go on and on about things we did, we just made it about more than the sport, and I think kids will buy in when they feel like you really care about them as a person, and that you're trying to teach life lessons through the game. Now they want to learn the game, but if it's just about the game, I don't know how impactful it is, and how they'll believe in that, And so, like, an example, right? Like, if a kid is late, right? I'm gonna yell at you, yes, but after I yell at you, I'm gonna tell you why you can't be late, and it's because when you show up to work late, you may get fired, you may get replaced. And I always made sure that I gave them the reasons why I was doing what I was doing, and always try to relate it to when you become a worker, or when you become a husband, or when you become a father. These are things that you got to do, and I'm training you to do that now. And I think, again, some kids over their head, think about having kids or getting married, but a lot of kids, I think, gravitated towards that and said, you know what, I probably should do what Coach Matt says, not because he wants to win, but because he wants me to be successful. And so when you have that, as when you have a bunch of those kids believing that, the wins come, because they're fighting, working hard, and they're playing for each other, and etc.
Oh, that's great. Again, you're watching HBTV with your host, Harry Bugarin, and my special guest, Coach Matsumoto. So, Coach, Helen Bernstein, 2012, you get that head coach job. Tell me how that felt when you finally got the helm to go through your program.
Yeah, so what happened was, I think it was like a Thursday. The principal and the AD, remember Coach Finch, and Miss Angela Block, they kind of approached me and said, "Would you like to take over the program?" And even then, I just didn't know if I was ready. One, we were really bad. I was only 29, fairly young still, and it was, I was again a tough setting, inner city. And so I asked for the weekend to think it over. And I emailed the head coach at Cathedral, who's a mentor to me still, Sean Doyle. And I just asked him, like, these are my worries. What should I do? Should I take it or not? And he emailed me back something that I'll never forget. And he said, he's been coaching at Cathedral forever. And he told me, Masaki, I've never worked with city kids, so I don't know, I can't relate to that experience. But what I do know is city kids or suburban kids, it doesn't matter. All kids just want to be loved. And when he said that, I just said, you know what? I love these guys, and I can keep loving these guys. And I think I can, even if I don't know everything, I think I can do well by them because I love them, and I'll work my butt off for them. So that Monday I took the job, and and then we went 8-3 first season and turned it around pretty quick. We had good players, we always had good players. We had to utilize them correctly and get them to show up to practice. They did, and they bought in, and I think it helped that I had already a relationship with them, but also that they saw what we did with the track program. So all the kids, they, most of the football players did track, and so they knew how the program was going to be ran,
Right.
And so again, we had buy-in right away. We had some great coaches, hired some great coaches right away who came with me to Tacoma, which I'm grateful for. Yeah.
Wow.
So,
wow.
Yeah, we got it rolling right away, and those last 3 years, 2 semifinal appearances, and did some good things.
That's awesome. So going with that, and again, everybody can Google you. They can look on as far as your accolades, what you did with Cathedral, with Helen Bernstein. But I wanted to ask you regarding the special on ESPN, that E60. You probably you probably talked about it a lot. And again, the viewers can Google it, and I'll put it in the description. But as far as that special, did that kind of like validate everything that you were doing at Bernstein and everything that you did at Cathedral, and just meshing all that stuff together and putting it together for you and the kids?
Yeah, I don't know if I would say validate. It's just part of the, I told you a couple minutes ago, if I told you everything that we try to do, in terms of like character development and motivation, I could go on forever, because that's what I really try to learn in the off season, is a lot of that stuff. But it was just one of the things that we did. And, when I first became a head coach in 2012, I made it a goal that I would visit 3 successful programs or coach every off season. And it's been 8 years, Coach, and I've kept that. And
awesome.
I truly believe that's a big part of my success, because I always say great coaches are great thieves. Okay. And you got to be able to steal things and make it your own. And that was one of the first coaches I visited, Coach Tom Boehner at Bothell High School in Seattle, and he gave me the idea for the letters. And
awesome.
I fell in love with it right away. But then on my flight home back to LA, I just kept thinking about it more, and I'm like, gosh, if it's powerful at a suburban school like Bothell, how much more powerful could it be at a place like Bernstein, where the parents probably don't tell them or show that much affection because they're always working or whatever, and so I decided to do it, and it turned out to be a great thing. And then how we got popular is after our first season, after we turned it around, Eric Sonheimer for LA Times, he called me between my first season and second season as a head coach and said, "Man, what'd you do, man? You turned that program around." And I think he was expecting like, "Oh, well, we got a bunch of transfers," or "Oh, our X's and O's are great," But I just told him, we got the kids to play for each other. And
Yeah.
he said, what are some of the ways you did that? And I told him about the letters, and then that, he wrote an article about it, and then ESPN found out, and then it just kind of blew up. So.
That's awesome. Again, you're watching HBTV, the show with Coach Matsumoto. So, Coach, I'm just gonna flip the script real quick, and just go back to, like, if people wanted to become a head coach or a coach in any sport at the high school level, junior college, or high school, can you, really quick, can you sustain a living just on coaching alone at the high school level? Your thoughts on that?
Okay, so unless you're at I would say maybe 5 to 10% of the schools where, like Mater Dei, John Bosco, one of those, big private schools where they're gonna just pay you to coach football, you cannot survive on just coaching high school. It's anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 for the whole year. And it's basically a stipend. That's what they call it, right? And so you definitely have to have a primary income if you're going to coach. And if people are looking to go into the high school ranks, I would suggest that they would, they become teachers, because I just think you have so much more effect on the kids when you're on campus, and especially if you're the head coach. I mean, I don't mean to sound negative, but you're putting out a lot of fires during the day. As a head coach, and if you're not on campus, you just don't have the pulse of the players, and players can't come to you, and you can't put out the fires.
So, going back, $3,000 for the entire year, that's 12 months, and you're putting in, I don't know, 18-hour days and things like that. Then you still got to pay your staff. I had a smaller staff than you. You had more assistants. Ballpark range, like, what is it looking like for their stipends? For your assistants?
Yeah, around the same, and a lot of, we still do it till this day. All of us split stipends. So, the guys who get stipends, we ask them to put some money aside, and then we pay the other coaches who actually don't get stipends. And then we also have volunteers. And so with the little money we get, we're even, we're cutting it down even more, because it's more important to have more coaches, especially with all the kids we have, the number of the kids we have, than to make a couple more $100. And I'm very fortunate that I have the assistants who have bought into that and who are all about the kids. And I would say in my 8 years of being a head coach, I would say I had maybe 2 people I interviewed that said, "Oh, sorry, I can't do that." But everyone else has been, "Hey, I don't care about the money. Just, I want to work with these kids." And it's for the most part, it's turned out great.
And the only reason why I bring it up is because a lot of people don't know, the salary of a high school coach, for example, in the public schools. They don't know how much time and effort is put in to becoming a head coach off that little money, and for myself, when I had that experience, and you and your staff, you guys are working year round just to make this program go. And so my hat goes off to you guys, as you guys still being educators and being there for the kids. I think that's what you're doing is great. It's positive. You're being that mentor. You're being that beacon for some of these kids that do need that. The reality is, like you said, some do come from those situations and they look to coach as that whatever figure they need. And you're providing that, and I think that's great. Keep doing what you're doing, Coach. I love it. So a little bit about Lincoln High School football. Yeah. Break that down and let me know. And where can I get that Lincoln varsity football shirt later? Just let's talk about that. But talk about Lincoln High School, man. I heard you guys are a powerhouse. Am I wrong when I say that?
No, I would say in our division, which is 3A, 4A is the biggest in Washington. 3A is the second. We're about 1,500 kids, but for 3A, I would say the last 6-7 years we've been one of the most consistent teams. I would say that, there's 2 Catholic schools that are always dominant, and then right below, they would have to put us there. We've been in the playoffs the last 6-7 years, and we just made the semis.
Wow.
For the first time in Lincoln history, which is awesome. But the community is awesome. You know, it's the school's over 100 years old.
Nice.
Rich history. You know, the building looks like a brick castle. You know, and it's pretty historic. They call it the Lincoln Bowl, our stadium, and you know, so it's pretty historic. Good, great community support. But man, I'm telling you, it's the staff and the kids that really make this program go. I mean, the kids are unbelievable. Again, they have bought in. They, you know, again, they don't come from the, you know, best circumstance, a lot of them. But you know, we push them, and they usually rise up to the challenge. And the coaches work year round. We go at 5:45 a.m. in the morning.
Wow.
From January to June. We got 60, 70 kids there every morning, and coaches, you know, I need assistants to run that, and they do. And it's been, yeah, it's a great place to be, and we've had a good run. And you know, if we have a season this year, we should have another big run. We have a lot of talented kids who are great kids.
Just a couple more questions before I let you go, Coach. Now that you mentioned that, during this era, you know, of COVID, right, where everybody's having some challenges in the school system, sports, professional or amateur, or whatever you have it. As far as, like, what are you guys doing with the kids right now? How have you had to pivot a little bit before you guys can see each other again, hopefully next semester?
Yeah, it's been tough. So since mid-March, we've been out of school. And so first we started just by sending them workouts, you know, that they could do at home. And our strength coach does a good job of, you know, creating that. And then we send it to them Monday through Thursday, because those are the days we usually work out, you know, and then we give them Friday and the weekends off. So we did that. And then April through June, again, when we thought we may be back, we did a character challenge where once a week, every week we gave them like a challenge to do every day, and they had to record how many days they did it, and then write like a reflection. So like week 1 was make your bed every day, you know, because once you make your bed, then you're more prone to do other things afterwards, you know, just creating a good habit. And then another week was, you know, do something nice for your family member, you know, so each day you have to do something. So just a character challenge. And then that brought us to the summer basically. And again, back to just workouts. The character challenge ended. And then now the last 4 weeks, we've been having Zoom meetings and installing plays, you know, since we haven't been able to do summer football. But I don't think we're going to be back for another 4 or 5 weeks. So what we're going to do is after this week, give them a couple of weeks off from the meetings, and then kind of see where it goes. But Coach, it's been like, I like to plan ahead, you know.
Yeah.
I'm wired that way, and it's been so stressful, like just only being able to plan like 2 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
And then once we get to that 2 weeks, now you got to plan the next 2 weeks, because you can't plan too far ahead. And so, yeah, it's been crazy, but we're making the best of it.
Okay. Again, you're watching HBTV with your host, Harry Bugarin, and my special guest, Coach Masaki Matsumoto. Last question, Coach. When it's all said and done, who's going to play Coach Masaki Matsumoto in the biopic? Which actor? Who's gonna play Coach?
I don't know. People have tried to be funny and say Jackie Chan or something. You know, I've been because of the new hairdo. They call me that guy from Rush Hour, the bad guy.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, I mean, shoot, what they gonna call me, man? You remember me? I always had my hair shaved and all that. But this is the COVID era, man. I'm just letting it grow.
I like it.
Coach, blessings. It was a pleasure to have you on. Good to see your face. Good to hear your voice after so many years. Love to keep up with Lincoln football and what you're doing. You're doing a great job out there. You've been doing it since I met you, man, and God bless. You guys stay safe out there, and you know, I'll keep in touch, brother. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me, Coach. Take care.
All right. Take care, brother. Well, that was Coach Masaki Matsumoto. Thank you for hanging with us. It was real pleasure to have him on the show. I haven't seen him in so many years, maybe 10 plus years or so, or something like that. Or not even, well, a little bit less than 10, but it's been a while. He's doing great stuff out there, so check him out. I'll put his description or his IG tag on the description of the video. Follow him again, Lincoln Football. Love the Naughty by Nature shirt that he had on, by the way. I forgot to ask him about that, but yeah. So we're gonna have a couple more guests. I got coming up the next episode next week. We're gonna have Jacob Mentz. He's a documentary photographer. He's done different shots or different publications with Nat Geo, Lonely Planet, Travel Channel. He's been in the Philippines for more than 10 years, and he's working on a project that he's documenting indigenous people of the Philippines. And he has some great pictures. If you saw my posts, those are some of his pictures. And just want to get down with him and just find out more about what he's doing and the projects, and just talk about some of his experiences there in the Philippines and his documentation. So great episodes coming up for the month of July. Again, please continue to tune in every Sunday or whenever I do get on. Please hit that button, that little bell that will give you guys alerts when I go on live, and I'll keep posting on Facebook. If you haven't had a chance yet, please visit harrybugarentv.me. That's the site that was just created and launched for this channel. You can find different information about the episodes that we just had that I posted, upcoming guests, and some gear to purchase, and click on some of the tiles of our partners here at HBTV. So again, thank you for sticking around and tuning in with me. I do love it. I can't do this without you guys. Thank you for the support and the love. Until next time, I'll see you guys back here on the show. You guys be safe and have a blessed work week.